I'm just going to do whatever it takes for my coach, whatever position my coach needs me to play in. I'm just going to do whatever benefits the team.
3 Sky players coming over. And the official is
Clark with fans everywhere.
You can just feel the buzz and excitement.
Did Angel Reese just commit career suicide or make the smartest move of her life? Her new podcast is causing an uproar, and you won't believe who's at the center of it all. Let's break down why everyone's talking about Reese's bold step into the world of media. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Starting a podcast in the middle of the season may seem like a rookie error. However, what if it turns out to be Angel Reese's best decision to date? This narrative is not as simple as it seems. After experiencing success in college, Angel Reese made the decision to release Unapologetically Heard in the midst of the WNBA season. Throughout the league, many took notice of the timing. Why this time? Shouldn't she be concentrating on her game? The shocking thing is that Reese isn't just playing hoops anymore. She is entering a completely new field, the media industry. Her career could be made or broken by this game. This change hasn't exactly pleased all of the fans. They are criticizing her for chasing prestige and neglecting her basketball game. But wait a minute, what if this isn't simply about pursuing fame? Let's dissect it. Reese is a young, gifted basketball player who has gained recognition in the collegiate ranks. There's no denying her abilities on the court. However, being the best at your sport isn't necessarily enough in the modern world. Consider it. How often have we seen inaccurate portrayals of athletes in the media? How frequently do we hear from players who wish they had more stories to tell? Reese's podcast fills that need. It goes beyond merely attracting attention. It has to do with taking charge of her own story. In a society where individuals hold diverse viewpoints, Reese is ensuring that hers is genuinely heard. Let's not mince words though. This is not a wise move. Extremely dangerous. Starting a podcast in the middle of the season could be disastrous. What happens if it takes her mind off her game?
Caitlin Clark both have a ton of respect for each other, but Angel said it best. She said everybody can.
I'm just going to do whatever it takes for my coach, whatever position my coach needs me to play in. I'm just going to do whatever benefits the team.
I think oftentimes I rely on the fouls, so just being able to just go up strong, and then if they call, they call. They don't. So,
what if she makes a contentious statement? On the other hand, this might be the action that elevates Angel Reese's profile beyond basketball. Potential that extends well beyond the court is being discussed. Knows the dangers, Reese. She is not gullible. She has actually been rather honest about it. She has admitted that although this podcast might backfire, it also has the ability to raise her profile in ways that are currently beyond our comprehension. What then is the true narrative here? Reese seems to be playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. Is she losing her concentration? And in actuality, what we're seeing is a young athlete attempting to make sense of a dynamic media environment in real time. Reese is no longer only an athlete. She's developing into a voice, a brand, and a personality. To be honest, the WNBA is in dire need of this kind of publicity. Whether you like it or not, Reese's play has generated conversation regarding women's basketball. When was the last time this many headlines were generated by a WNBA story? The crucial query is this: can Reese balance everything? Is it possible for her to be a world-class athlete, a public figure, and a role model simultaneously? Fans are gripped by a different story that is developing while Reese is making waves. Recall the confrontation between Reese and Clark. Hold on to your hats, because Reese just disclosed information about their relationship that will drastically alter things. Let's take a little look back. Imagine the following scenario: tense moments before the NCAA championship game, when all of a sudden Angel Reese is in Caitlin Clark's face, retaliating with a celebratory gesture of her own. Social media was ignited by the global jest that went viral. After all, everyone had an opinion and a rivalry was established. This is when the intriguing part comes in. Reese made the decision to advertise her new podcast using Clark's name and likeness. How about stoking the flames even more? Reese had to take immediate action to contain the backlash as fans called her out for using clickbait, altering the thumbnail before you could say controversy. Wow, this rivalry is getting out of hand, maybe running through your mind. There's a twist though. Reese drops a shocking revelation via her podcast that no one anticipated. She acknowledges that she has no serious issues with Clark. Yes, you did indeed hear that. After all that drama and anxiety, Reese is suddenly claiming that things are not as they seem. Reese seems to have dealt us the ultimate Uno reversal card. She is utilizing this platform to demonstrate that their bond is much deeper than what is shown on the court. It has nothing to do with maintaining the rivalry or casting aspersions. Rather, Reese depicts a respectful relationship between two tough rivals. Consider it. How frequently do we witness athletes being open to have frank discussions with their perceived competitors over a seat at a table? It happens very infrequently, but Reese is doing precisely that. She's taking charge of the story and demonstrating to us that these athletes are more complex individuals than what transpires on the field. The WNBA is being shaken up in unexpected ways by this decision.
I think so many people are watching women's basketball right now. It all started from the national championship game, and I've been dealing with this for 2 years now.
3 Sky players coming over. And the official is...
Since the Marina Mabry trade, and she has stepped up her game in that opportunity. Caitlin Clark for 3, rattles it around for her first deep.
These days, it's not just about the basketball. It's about altering our perceptions of these players, our conversations about them, and their interactions with one another off the court. Reese is engaged in more than simply hoops. Her game is chess. She's altering the game with her invitation to Clark for her program. She is demonstrating that even after the final bell rings, two passionate opponents can face off on the court and still show respect for one another. But for a moment, let's be honest, this goes beyond Reese and Clark alone. It has to do with women's basketball's future. These athletes are transforming our perception of the sport by taking charge of their own narratives. They are demonstrating to us that they are more than simply the highlights that we see on ESPN. The worst part is that this might be the beginning of something significant. Consider a WNBA in which players are athletes first and foremost. They are influencers, storytellers, and role models who have the ability to communicate with their fans directly and unfiltered. Not only is Angel Reese altering the rules on the court, she's taking on problems that the majority of athletes wouldn't even attempt to touch. What subject is so divisive that it has the potential to permanently alter our perception of women's sports, you ask? So grab a seat, because Reese is gonna take us on an exciting journey into the shadowy side of sports celebrity. Yet, let's discuss something that has been lingering under the radar of the Reese Clark controversy. It goes beyond simply determining who can score more points or who has the better jump shot. This is not the only game being played. Off the court, there's another one. Reese is exposing the racial narratives that have been imposed on her competition with Clark through her new podcast. It's not attractive, and it's certainly not what you would anticipate learning about in an interview conducted after a game. The problem is that these stories are having an impact on more people than simply Reese and Clark. They're tarnishing the reputation of the whole sport. It's 2023, you might be thinking, come on, I take it we're over all that? False. Reese is shedding light on an issue that has been destroying women's basketball for a long time. She is discussing how this rivalry has been misrepresented by the media. These days, it's not just about basketball. It has to do with race and our perception of these sportsmen, but there's still more. Reese's remarks extend beyond the media. She's talking candidly about the price she pays to be in the spotlight. It's not all glitz and glamour, I assure you. Reese has been the target of severe harassment. We are discussing explicit imagery, offensive language, and anything in between. This is the kind of content that would cause anyone to want to permanently give up social media use. This is no longer just about Reese. It concerns all young athletes who aspire to become professional athletes. Is this what they are supposed to anticipate? A society in which their every action is monitored, in which they are reduced to racial caricatures, and in which they are afraid to even verify the signals they send? Here's where Reese is altering the rules though. She is not merely bemoaning the issue. She's changing the subject with her voice. She is discussing mutual respect, skill, and the important things in sports. She is doing it with her alleged rival standing next to her.
Reese, yep, across the head, and they will go to the monitor to review this one.
The reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person, it's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that.
Clark, with fans everywhere.
You can just feel the buzz and excitement.
Consider it. When was the last time you witnessed a sincere discussion about the problems impacting their sport between two fierce competitors? It's not too common, is it? But Reese is doing precisely that. She is demonstrating to us that these athletes are more complex individuals off the court. This is more than just Reese and Clark settling their differences. It's about transforming women's basketball as a whole. It's about providing a forum for players to talk about their experiences, challenges, and victories. It's about proving to the world that these athletes are more than the team they play for or the color of their skin. Here, Reese is taking a big chance. She's taking a risk by speaking out about topics that most people would prefer to ignore. However, that's the reason this is so crucial. She's no longer merely a basketball player. She's starting to speak up for change in a sport that is in dire need of it. What does this signify then for women's basketball going forward? Will additional gamers come out to discuss these issues, or will they remain silent because of the pressure to stick to sports? Time will tell.